You're listening to Brandon Sports Talk, interviewing professional athletes and Paralympians and Olympians. And now for your professional athlete interview and your host, Brandon P. Welcome back to Brandon Sports Talk. In today's episode, I have the privilege to interview the USA Paralympian sitting volleyball player, Heather Erickson. How are you doing today?
Good, how are you?
I'm doing good. Can you talk about how you knew that you wanted to play professional volleyball?
I didn't really know that I wanted to play it until it was brought up to me. So I was found when I was playing standing volleyball. Um, and the Paralympic whole movement was very new when I was growing up. And I was playing a standing volleyball game, and the referee was the men's assistant coach, and she kind of brought it to light and like showed me what it was, and um passed my name along to the head coach and got invited. So I didn't really know it was an option until I was like 13.
Of course, what was that like, obviously playing standing volleyball and then switching over to sitting volleyball?
I think, like I said, the knowledge of what Paralympics was when I was growing up was so different than it is now. Um, that it was a lot more hesitant than I think if I was going through it right now that I would have had. I like was still in the mindset of not wanting to admit that you had a disability, and like I'm playing standing volleyball. I don't have to do adapted sports. So I was a little bit hesitant, and then I ended up going to the first camp and like realized that it's like a really big deal and it was really cool. And then it kind of changed my mindset of like what I wanted to do, and just that it was a fun sport. And I didn't really understand what the sport was until I sat and played with the girls. So it's fun.
Of course, going to your first camp as a sitting volleyball player, what was that experience like, getting to meet some of the girls that were going through the same challenges you?
So it's interesting with like growing up without having any disabled people around me, and then going into this environment where everybody has some type of disability, everybody's gone through something. It was nice because you weren't looked at as an athlete with a disability, you were looked at as an athlete. And so it was a good environment to grow up in because there was no like, oh, you can't do this because you have this disability. And it's like, no, everybody's dealing with the same type of thing. This is what's expected. You have to go. And it treated you more like a professional athlete and less like, oh, you are doing all these things and it's so amazing. And it's like when you're on that team, like everybody is doing what you're doing, and you can be an athlete and you can be taken serious. And so it was fun. Like it was fun for me, especially to go into that environment and be pushed in that way.
How was that like, obviously making the national team for the first time?
So my experience with that was I was 15 years old when I made the Paralympic team. I was 13 when I was training with them, and I didn't find out until a month or two before we went over to Beijing. So I had moved from North Carolina to Oklahoma to train the whole summer by myself. And my coach like sat me down right before we left and like it's like, do you want to go? And so it was super exciting, but it was very fast, fast and furious of him telling me that I made my team and then getting ready to go and having all that stuff go. It was a surreal moment. It was a long time ago.
How was that feeling like the first time you made the Paralympic team to go to Beijing in 20 2008?
Beijing was really, really fun. We did processing in Colorado Springs at the Olympic Training Center. So being able to make the team and then travel with the team and go through team processing where you got all your gear, you got all your podium stuff, you got all of your whatever USA volleyball or USA sports you needed were going. And you kind of realize what kind of it meant. Like it's a bigger deal than what I even thought. Because you're sitting there getting fitted for Ralph Lauren and you're getting fitted for your podium, and everything has to be custom fit so that it looks perfect and it looks great. And you go through and they just treat you like an elite athlete. Like they're like, here's what your gear, here's what you need. This needs to fit this way. You need to wear this. And trying to make sure you organize all of it is kind of crazy because you're like, to make sure I have this for this moment and this for this moment. So it's just you don't realize how big of a deal it is until you're in it.
What was that first moment like when you realized that you made the Paralympic team and you were going to Beijing to compete for the country?
It was a great moment. I mean, I was excited.
Of course, after your first Paralympics, what was that preparation like preparing for your second Paralympics?
I think your second Paralympics, it's always a little different because you do kind of have a grasp on what it's like. And so it's not so much of the oohs and ahs where you're more focused on like, this is the competition we want to win. Going into Beijing, we wanted to medal because in Athens, the team had medaled and got bronze. This year, we went in and we just wanted to medal. Like we wanted to get a medal, we wanted to be in the podium, we wanted to be in the gold medal match. And we ended up beating the Netherlands to get in the gold medal match, which was the first time we ever beat them in Beijing. And then we got our butts kicked against China, which was fine. But going into London, we were really focused on like, we want a gold medal. We want to be there. We want to compete. We want to be successful. So it was a different mindset of like Beijing, we were happy to be there and we were trying to fight for a medal. Whereas London, we really, as a team, kind of shifted our focus into wanting gold, which we didn't get gold, but it was very much focused on the sport aspect, not as much of this is so fun.
Of course, going to Beijing in your first Paralympics, what was that like receiving a silver medal?
We were excited because, like I said, that was the first time we beat the Netherlands ever, and it was a 5-set match, and it went like 2.5 hours, just a dogfight of a match. So we were really excited to get into that gold medal match, and I mean, winning a medal anywhere is incredible. I mean, you're up there with the podium with your teammates, and not very many people get that experience. Like there's a lot of people who attend the Paralympics and there's very few that get to receive a medal, stand up there with our team. So it's very awesome.
How was that preparation like preparing for London Paralympics in 2012?
Like I said, it was just a little different because we're focused more on getting gold rather than going and enjoying.
Of course, that experience for you traveling to London, what was that experience like traveling and competing in London and going to Paris?
London, I mean, traveling is always fun, especially with our team, because you're not traveling with your parents, you're traveling with your delegation and your team. And I'm trying to think of what we did in London, but London, we did classification or we did processing, which is where everybody kind of gets everything. We did that in London. So we landed, and then you're with a lot of different sports. So we were with wheelchair basketball, we were with some tennis kit guys. And so it's fun because once you land, you're with that community of athletes that are playing for Team USA, that are there to compete all in the Paralympic Games. So it was fun.
What was that experience like obviously getting to hang out with those wheelchair basketball players?
So when you're in the village, you are in essentially this tower, and it's all dedicated to Team USA athletes. And you get to interact with everybody because there is like an athlete lounge kind of area, and then when somebody gets a medal, they put their face on the board, and like there's just all this stuff that's a big community. So it's really fun to get to be together in one area and just like network and like meet friends that, you still talk to. And then you end up, making relationships with these people. And then you go and you can watch them play, because there's a lot of times where we're not all in one area. We'll play like sitting volleyball, we'll go to different competitions, and wheelchair basketball go to different competitions. Track and field will go to different, so we're never around each other. So it's really special when we all get to be like in one area together.
What were some of your favorite memories and moments competing in Rio in 2016?
Rio was awesome. Like, it was obviously the first time we won a gold medal. Some of my favorite memories, I mean, it's just there's so many things that happen inside the village that you're just like hanging out with friends, you're hanging out with teammates. My favorite part about going to the Paralympics is just like hanging out in the cafeteria, because that's where a lot of people will go, and you just sit down like for hours, and people will come in and you hang out and you talk, and then they leave. The nice thing was that our venue was so close to our competition, or the venue was close to our village, so the athlete village. So we got to walk to our games. And when we won the gold medal, our coach had bought us champagne bottles. So we like pop bottles in the locker room, which was really fun. And then we all went out to a restaurant with our families and ate like as a team and stuff. I think that's my favorite memory of Rio.
Of course, how was that preparation like preparing for Tokyo in 2020? And what did you use in your last three to prepare you to go to Tokyo?
Tokyo is when I kind of started feeling like a veteran on the team. I felt I'm getting older and I've been on this team for a while. Tokyo was so different just because of the COVID factor. We had so many more guidelines, so many more things we had to do and hoops we had to go through because of COVID. So we had to like test before we got on the plane. We had to test when we got there. We had to test every day. So there was an added stress. And I think that those games were the most stressful games I've ever been a part of, just because you don't know, if you're going to come positive, then you could potentially not be playing in the next match. So there's a lot of things in Tokyo that really pushed us mentally. And I think all of us were at our breaking point by the time we left. But the fact that we could come together as a team and end up winning gold was just like a whirlwind. Like, Tokyo just felt like a whirlwind. And it was a little sad because we didn't get to experience the country, because usually we can go out and like do things. I was going to stay extra in Tokyo and like tour. But this time you had to sign a contract that said you'd be out of the country 48 hours after your last match. So it added a little bit of chaos.
Of course, as you talked about being a veteran on the Tokyo team, what were some of the things that obviously your teammates looked up to you when being a veteran?
Being a veteran, for me personally, I have really focused on being like a calm presence on the court. So when things get chaotic, being calm, being neutral, like I'm a problem solver just by in general in my life. So if there's something that happens, I really take it upon myself to make sure that I'm trying to find a solution. And I really try to be just a stable person where they're not worried that I'm going to go too high or too low. I don't know if it works, but that's what the goal is. And then as a veteran, I think people just look to you immediately. Like, they know that you've been in these situations. That was my fourth Paralympics games. They know that you've been here, so they're going to look to you to kind of lead the way of what to happen when adversity hits. And so I think staying calm is the best thing I can do for my team.
Of course, what was that feeling like getting to put on that jersey and have the Paralympic symbol along with Team USA on it?
So I grew up military. My dad was just retired from the Army. So I grew up living on bases where like the flag was everywhere, USA was everything. So it was really special for me because I knew that I could never serve in the military with my disability, that it was really special that I could represent our country in a different way, in a way that I really was passionate about and I was able to be successful at. And so it was very special for me to wear USA and to have USA on my chest.
What is that like, obviously, getting to compete against that Canada and Team USA rivalry game?
I don't know that we're rivals. um, I think we've played China more than we've played Canada. I think Canada's a really good team and they're getting a lot better. We don't usually play Canada too much, but it's nice because they speak English, we speak English, we're, closer to them because we live closer, so we tend to do some like matches together. So it's always a fun game. It's very like friendly match.
Who are some of the people that you look up to on the Team USA team?
On the Team USA team,
Mm-hmm.
um, I think that there's just a lot of common relationships that I really treasure and I think that I really appreciate. I think Whitney Dosey is a very amazing player. I think that I love how positive she can be and how positive she can make situations. If there's controversy or something happens or someone said something, I think she has a really unique and positive way to like spin it and figure out a good solution that makes the team stay unified and goes forward. So I think that that's kind of someone I really look to when I need help.
How's it like, obviously, playing with some of your teammates like Anna, Flo, and Emma?
Annie is not currently training with us right now. So I didn't get to play with her too much because I had shoulder surgery. So she was kind of not there when I was there. But Emma's a fireball. She is so sweet. The unique thing about our team is that no matter what happens off the court, we're very solid on the court. And Emma, especially in Tokyo, was really a main person that was like helping me of when I'm on the court, she's looking at things that are open. When she's on the court, I'm helping her. So it's very fun having her there because she's a very, very fireball, lots of youth, something I don't have anymore. But
How
it's
does
cool
it
because she is going to be those people are going to be the future of the team. So it's really fun to still be a part of the team and see what the team has coming up the pipe.
how does it feel to have Paralympian behind your last name and add PLY?
Um, it's crazy. It's been a part of my life for so long. I don't know what's going to happen when I don't have it a part of my life. But it's really special because when I started, people didn't know what Paralympics are, and now there's such a prestige to it and there's so much more knowledge about it. So it's really special to have that part of your life be something that no one can take away. Like I will forever be a Paralympian and I'll always have those experiences. So it's really special.
What does it mean to be a USA sitting volleyball player?
What does it mean? It means lots of hard work and lots of weekends off spent training, and it's just fun.
How's it like, obviously, getting to meet your fans and having them ask for your autographs and photos with you?
So I love interacting with fans. I actually coach 13-year-old girls and I always let them like play volleyball, try sitting volleyball. They come and watch our team and I think it's really fun for me to take a step back from the sport because I've been doing it for so long that you lose the little things that make it so special. And every year I try to teach them how to play volleyball and let them experience it and they come to a camp and watch us play. So I think it's special that I get to see those girls see the sport for the first time and kind of see it through their eyes.
What are some of the things that you learn now as a veteran that you didn't know as a rookie?
There's so much. Emotions matter. I think, people go into sports and they're so emotional and they want to be so good and they want to never make a mistake and they want to be this and that. And you kind of lose sight of that. It's a process, and, you can't expect yourself to be at a level until you kind of make those steps into the process of becoming a great athlete. I wish I knew that emotions factor the game a lot. I was very hard on myself. I would get really down on myself if I made mistakes. Um, put a lot of pressure on myself of like, if we lost, I took it really hard. And I wish I knew that, point is a point. It's not the end of the world. And I wish that I knew how to control my emotions like I do now, because it's a lot more functional.
How does it feel to know that you're a four-time Paralympian and four-time medalist?
I I don't think it's fully soaking in what my career has been so far, because I'm still in it. I'm very proud of it, and it's just funny when you're an athlete because you're always looking forward, you're always looking at the next thing, you're always looking like, okay, yeah, we won gold in Tokyo, but how are we going to win gold in Paris? And you don't get to really step back and be like, holy crap, I just did all of this. And so it's kind of soaking in because I know that I'm kind of at the end side of my career, but I don't think it'll fully soak in until I'm retired and I'm thinking back to it.
How has it been like obviously playing with some of your teammates like Courtney Baker, Lauren Weber, and even Bethany?
This team is special. I mean, it's it's fun to play with all these people, and I've played with Laura since Beijing. Laura's been on the team since Athens, but it's just special because it's everybody's united trying to fight for the same goal. And I don't think I've ever been a part of something so special, in the sense that no matter what happens, we go on the court, we have each other's back, we're all trying to do the same thing. It doesn't matter who gets subbed in, who's on the court, who's not on the court. Like, we're all working towards a common goal. And me and so could not be best friends off the court, but when we got on the court, like, we're slapping each other's hands, we're helping each other out, we're cheering each other on. And I think that it's just a really special team, in that we're able to put our differences aside and we're able to kind of go towards that common goal, and we all have a respect for each other. So I really enjoy playing with all of them. It's really fun.
What has it been like obviously living out your Paralympic dream?
I think, like I said with before, I don't think I fully appreciate it. I mean, I definitely love it, and I love that I'm able to play sports, and I love that I'm able to be a good role model for the girls that I coach. I love that volleyball has been a part of my life this long, and I love that I can be an athlete, not a disabled athlete. And so I really appreciate those things. And I think that, like I said, when I retire, I think it's going to be more heavy than it is right now. But it's been surreal. It's been amazing. And I've been very thankful for all the opportunities that I've been given, because we've gotten to travel the world.
What are
To
some of your what are some of your future plans in the sport of sitting volleyball?
So I'm retiring in LA. That will be my last Paralympic Games. And then after that, I don't know. So we're gearing up for Paris now. And then, the next quad, which is our 4 years, will be kind of like a victory lap, I guess, of, doing everything that I wanted to do. And then we'll see where it goes from there.
What is that going to feel like obviously preparing for Paris and then going to LA?
Um, Paris feels very quick because Tokyo was later, so it was in 2021, not 2020. So everything feels very like chaotic and like sporadic because we're having, to qualify quickly, and then the games are next year. And so, and I'm recovering from shoulder surgery too, so it's been a process of learning how to recover and doing it the right way and get your body back to where it needs to be. LA, I think, will be a whole different animal. We don't have to qualify because it's a host country, so you get a bid automatically. So I think it's just Paris, we're just trying to get everybody healthy, everybody back in the gym, and trudge on from there. And then, I don't know what LA will hold, but I assume, a lot of us are thinking about being done after LA. So I think it'll be a really special quad of just wanting to enjoy every moment of it.
What advice would you give those players that are looking to play on the college level in sitting volleyball?
I would say don't let your emotions get the best of you. Enjoy the process, because you're going to get to the end of the career and wish that you had done more or done this or done that. And, it's about the games, and it's also about everything else. So take time and enjoy what you're doing.
What advice would you give those players that are looking to represent a national team, whether it's Team USA or Canada?
I would say understand how special it is and how much it matters and how much it means to the people watching, and don't take that lightly. Like, there's little girls and little boys that are watching and wanting to be where you are and be the role model that you'd want to see on the TV.
What advice would you give future Paralympians and current Paralympians looking to compete, whether it's their first time or multiple times to compete?
I think that it's bigger than us. I think it's bigger than you, it's bigger than me, it's bigger than the games you win or lose, especially with the Paralympic movement, because at one point or another, someone that's been at the Paralympics has been told they can't do something, and you can't compete, you can't play, you can't do this, you can't do that. And they're not looking if you win the games. They're looking and seeing that you're doing it and that you're being the person that they hope they can be one day. And I think it's such a special thing with the Paralympics, because it's not just sports. It's so much bigger than sports. It's someone watching you do something they want to do that they don't even know if they're capable of doing. Like, I was in hospitals and surgeries until I was age 8. So it's like, you're inspiring this group of disabled athletes that you're showing them that they can become what they want to be. And I think that's special, because it's hard when you're in those situations and you're in those, the tragedy that you're dealing with. It's hard to see that there is that light outside, because you're going through that right now. And I think that we as Paralympians have such a huge role to put ourselves out there and to show what's possible for those kids.
That's great advice. Where can my listeners find you at on social media?
I am on Instagram and I have a Facebook. I don't have Twitter and I don't do TikTok.
Thank you again, Heather Erickson, for your interview, and best of luck in your future as a U.S. Paralympian sitting volleyball player.
Thank you.
You can find Brandon Sports Talk on Facebook at Brandon Sports Talk, Instagram at Brandon Sports Talk, Twitter at Talk_Britain, and you can find me on YouTube at Brandon Sports Talk. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Thank you again, Heather, for your interview, and best of luck in your future.
You've been watching Brandon Sports Talk. Please feel free to like, share, and subscribe to Brandon Sports Talk on social media and on YouTube.